Welcome students. My name is Shrutika Lohar from Denar Colony English Municipal School number 1. Today we are going to start with EVS lesson environment. Let's see what the concept environment means actually. Look at the pictures alongside. You can easily name all these things. What material are they made from? Where do we find these materials? What are the uses of these things? Look over here, there's a bat. Bat is made of wooden material. There's a pot, brown color pot. Pot is made of clay. The cup is also made of clay. Sometimes it is made of metal. And there's a string we obtain from cotton. Okay. Where do we find these materials? We find all these material in our surrounding. What are the uses of these things? Why we use bat? We use bat to play cricket. Why we use pot? We use pots to store water or other food grains. Why we use cup? We use cup to drink liquid or to drink tea, to drink milk or soup. And what is the use of string? We use string for stitching clothes. Let's move ahead. Can you name these things too? Now, on your right, we have there's a bunch of banana, gooseberry, and this corn cob. Where do we find them? What are they used for? Now, what do we do with banana? Banana is a fruit. We eat banana. What do we do with the gooseberry? It is also a fruit. We make jam or sometimes we make pickle from it. What do we do with the corn? We all love corn. We either roast it or we boil it and we have it. We enjoy eating all these things. Now, let's have a look at this beautiful picture given over here. Take a look. This is a beautiful nature scenery. I can see there's a tree and a monkey sitting on the tree. There's a river alongside. A white color rabbit is sitting nearby. There's a small village over here, as we can see. A man is walking on the road. And there are some hills, blue sky, and there's also a squirrel running towards the top of the tree. It's a beautiful picture now. There are many things around us. They form our environment. Now, children, what does this statement mean? Every single thing surrounding you, everything around you is counted into your environment. They form our environment. If you're living in jungle, then jungle around you, the trees around you, the animal around you, river around you, everything around you is your environment. If you're living in a village, then the small cottages, the well, farms, the cows and cattle, everything that is surrounding you is your environment. If you're living in an urban area, if you're living in city, then cinema halls, the railway stations, and the airport, the roads, and the schools, and the post office, market, and the other societies, all this, everything together will be called as your environment. There are stones and rocks and soil. See children, stones, rocks, soil, water reserves, everything this is also included in your environment. There are rivers and streams and lakes. There is air. There are hills and mountains. There are jungles. There are fields and houses and rocks and also barren lands. Barren lands means land where nothing can be cultivated. It's called barren lands. We also see many different animals around us, different types of trees and bushes and climbers make our environment beautiful. We too are a part of this environment. Children, so everything in our surrounding, including you and me, we are also part of the environment. Let's move ahead. A sparrow and a roadside stone. We can see there are some sparrows shown over here and there is a stone there. You can also see sparrow is carrying an insect in her beak. Here's a nest. Nest has small little birds inside. Okay. Now let us look at a stone and a sparrow in our surroundings and compare them. A stone remains where it is. Its place changes only if someone picks it up and moves it. It doesn't eat, so it doesn't grow bigger. It doesn't have babies either. Here we are going to compare a sparrow and a stone. Stone, we all know. Have you ever seen a stone walking or going to school or dancing or doing something? Neither we have ever seen stone eating something, isn't it? So as we have never seen any stone eating something, so stone also does not grow in the shape. Like other animals, they eat, and because of eating they put on weight and they grow. Okay, small kids or small babies of the animals also, they eat, and slowly their body parts grow bigger and they grow. So this thing doesn't happen in case of the stones. It's not the same with sparrow. See, as we have never seen stone eating and growing, we have never seen stone moving also, but this thing doesn't happen in case of the sparrow, because sparrow eats and it grows also and it lays babies. Sparrows build nest. They move here and there on their own. Sparrow is a living thing. It can collect, or it can move and collect its own food, and it can go from one place to the another place on its own according to her own wish. They eat insects and grains. That is why they grow. What a sparrow eats? Sparrow eats grains. Sparrow eats insects, and as she eats, she also grows. They lay eggs in nests. Little sparrows hatch from these eggs. Sparrows take a lot of care of their young ones. We have seen many times in this picture also, you all can see sparrow is bringing insect in her beak and going towards her nest. Sparrows lay eggs. After some time, when eggs are completely grown, small baby sparrows come out of the eggs, and they also, when start eating, babies grow in shape and they become younger. Okay, we have seen that birds collect food for their young ones and they take a lot of care of them. Next point, why do we see these differences between the sparrow and the stone? I'll tell you why there is a difference between stone and the sparrow. Sparrow eats, sparrow grows, sparrow lays eggs, sparrow can move from one place to another, but all these things never happen in case of the stone. Stone remains where it is. If you place one stone on the table today, tomorrow morning also you will find it at the same place unless you pick it up. Stone cannot change its own place, cannot go from one place to another place on its own. You cannot feed a stone, or stone, nobody has ever seen stone collecting food for itself or laying eggs or laying babies. Okay, so there is a difference. The sparrow is living thing and stone is non-living thing. Now what is living and what is non-living? Let's see. Things in our surroundings form two groups. We have seen many things in our surroundings, and they can be categorized into two groups. There are two type of things. One is living thing and another is non-living thing. What is living, what is non-living thing? See over here. Look at this chart. Things in our surrounding, living and non-living. Now what in living things again can be classified into two, that is animals and plants. Let's see more about it. Animals have babies and seedlings grow from seeds. The seedlings then grow into plants. This tells us that plants are living things. Living things are of two kinds, plants and animals. All the living things like plants and animals, they grow in shape. For example, a seedling, when we sow in the soil, it grows and then it takes form of a plant. This tells us that a plant grows, that means plant is a living thing. Plants to move. For example, when a bird blooms into flower, its petals open. But movement of plants are not so easily seen. Plants also need food. So like animals, plants are also counted under living things. Of course, plants do not move from one place to place like animals do. Their roots hold them down in one place. This is a big difference between plants and animals. See, the biggest difference they have told here, that animals can go from one place to the other place according to their own wish whenever they want, but plants cannot do that. Plants hold the soil and they stay at one place and they do not move. They do not go from one place to other. That's the difference between animal and plants. But plants and animal both are the living things. Let's move ahead. Can you tell? There are things in this picture living or non-living. If it is a living thing, is it a plant or an animal? Okay, let's see. Look over here. That's a banyan tree. As we saw just now, trees grow in shape and they are living things. This is a white color rabbit. Rabbit is also a living thing. Then frog. Frog is an animal. Frog is also a living thing. Now look at this. This is a gas cylinder, red color gas cylinder. It is a non-living thing because it does not eat, it cannot lay eggs, nor it grows, so it's a non-living thing. Near that there is a glass. Now glass is again a non-living thing because it cannot grow in shape, cannot go from one place to other, nor it can lay eggs, nor it grows, so it's a non-living thing. The next picture is a rose plant. Now rose plant is a living thing because all plants are counted under living things. As you know, a rose plant can grow itself, so it's a living thing. Now this is a griddle. It's a cooking utensil. It is a non-living thing. Now coconut plant, it's a living thing. So just now we have classified things under living and non-living. Let's go ahead. Use your brain power. A railway engine goes to and fro. It is living or non-living. A railway engine can go from one place to another place, but it's a mechanical thing. It's not living thing. It cannot lay eggs. It cannot collect food, nor it can eat food, nor it grows in shape. So it's a non-living thing. Wood comes from trees, which are living thing. A chair is made from wood. Now, is the chair living or non-living? Now, it's very important question. We should think about this. Wood is obtained from a tree. Tree is a living thing, but the articrafts that we create from the wood cannot grow itself, nor it can collect food for itself, nor it can lay eggs, nor it can grow its shape. So it's a non-living thing. So if you create any artifact from the wood, it is going to be the non-living thing. A living tree, a living plant only can be called as living thing. Next, can you tell which bird do you see in your surrounding? Which birds do you see in your surrounding? We see many birds nowadays. We can see parrots, sparrows, crows. We see myna. If you live in the village side, you might get to see peacocks. Then next question. Can you name some things that are made from stone? Stone made things are mortar and pestle is one thing. Then the sculptures, statues made of the stones. These are the things we get to see made of stones. Next, the relationship between all things in the environment. See there you can see a nest and a cotton seed and some dry twigs. Let's see what's said in this point. Water and air are part of environment. All living things need them. Living things also need food. They get their food from environment. Whatever living thing need to survive, they get from their environment. Birds build nest. They need cotton, twigs and threads to build them. They get these things from environment. Now water and air are part of our environment, and all living things need them to survive. Living things also need food. All the living things like plant, animal and human beings need food to survive. We need water to survive and we need air to breathe. And we get all these things in our surrounding, that means in our environment. Now whatever living things need to survive, we get it from our environment. For example, they have given the example of birds. Birds build nest. And what do they need to build the nest? They need cotton, they need twigs, they need thread, and every material they need to build their nest is always available in the environment. Human beings use so many things from environment. We get cotton, wool and silk from our environment. We weave cloth from them. Now as you can see, very beautifully displayed over here, there's a cotton plant. If you did not know this, let me tell you, cotton grows on the plant. Okay, it's a living thing. Yes, cotton, from cotton we obtain threads, and by weaving threads we get beautiful colorful clothes like shirt and frock. And there is one more material that gives us the fabric, that is the wool. Wool on or the woolen fur on the body of sheep, the skin of sheep is taken away and it's transformed into the wool. Okay, and then from woolen material we make socks, we make sweaters, we make scarves and shawls. That's how we get fabrics. We make things like mat, basket, paper from material in our environment. Basket is made of the bamboo sticks, and the notebooks and the paper that we use is obtained from the tree material. We build houses using clay and stone and wood. These materials too we get from environment. To build a house, nowadays we use bricks, but previously people used to build houses from the locally available material like wood and big stones, etc., and the clay. Yes, the seeds of some plants are scattered by wind. As a result, seedlings of those plants grow in new places. Those plants too get help from the environment. Sometimes if we go out to um, play, go out just for a walk, we get to see same type of plants everywhere. Why do we get to see that? Has anyone planted that same plant seeds everywhere? We think about that, but what the real thing is, once a seed or a fruit is dried up completely, it cracks up. After cracking, seeds inside it come out and scatter everywhere with the breeze of air, and wherever they fall, there grows the fallen seed. It catches the roots and it starts growing up there. That's how seeds of one plant spread everywhere, and wherever it falls, it starts growing up there. Living things take many things from their environment. What effect does that have on the environment? Living things, like we human beings, we use many things from our surrounding. We use plants, we use mud, we use clay, we use wood, we use water. Many things we take from our surroundings. So the more we take, the more we need, and sometimes to satisfy our needs we take so much that we keep harming the environment. For example, if you need wood to build a house, you will go and cut the wood, you will go and cut the trees, and those many trees will reduce in number. So that is actually you are being satisfied, but environment is getting lost, or environment is experiencing loss. Animals like vulture foxes eat the flesh of dead animals. Thus, they clean the environment while they satisfy their hunger. There are many dead meat eating animals like vulture, fox. What they do, they survive on the flesh of the dead animals. So when they eat dead animals, they actually clean the environment. If nobody eats that, the rotting flesh remains there and it spreads many diseases. Remains of dead animal decay. So remains of dead animals starts rotting. They mix with the soil. Leaves fall off trees. They too rot and get mixed with the soil. This makes the soil fertile. Plants get nourishment from fertile soil. Now, how the soil gets fertile, that has been told over here. When animals they die, their flesh starts rotting, it decays, and it gets mixed with the soil. Not just that, but the fallen dry leaves of the trees, they also rot and get mixed with the soil. Now, because of its remains, the soil becomes fertile. It becomes rich, and the quality of the soil improves, and it keeps on providing nourishment to the trees growing there. Thus, living things bring about changes in non-living things too. Now, why this is said that soil is a non-living thing, but when the dead remains of the living thing get mixed with the soil, the quality of soil improves, and indirectly that nourishment is again provided to the plants. Now let's have a look at this picture. Do you know a sheep's body is covered with wool? We all know sheep has a woolen fur coat on her body. The sheep feeds on leaves of shrubs. What does the sheep eat? It eats shrubs. As it does so, the seeds of some shrubs can get caught in its wool. When we leave sheep in the farm or on the grasslands for grazing, what happens is While eating leaves, some of the seeds of the shrubs get caught in sheep's fur. When the sheep goes somewhere else, the seeds may fall off there. Thus, the sheep helps new seedlings of the shrub to grow in many different places. In this way, the sheep, which is an animal, and the shrub, which is a plant, help each other. So, dear students, that's how we have completed this lesson over here. Let's recapitulate what we have seen so far, what we have learned. There are many things in our environment. Some of them are living things and some are non-living things. Living things can move on their own. Living things need food. Food helps them to grow. Living things produce young ones like themselves. Living things are of two kinds, plants and animals. Living things get all that they need from their environment. Living things bring about changes in non-living things too. All things in environment depend upon each other. Do listen to this video again and study.